Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of How to Scale an Agency. I'm on with Michael Knorr. He has that company, which is white label marketing with a focus on sales enablement, really just all kinds of digital marketing for digital marketing agencies. So that way they can just focusing on billing and receiving collections from clients and not on doing all of the work all the time and having support behind the scenes. They were actually on Inc. 500 at one point. So super excited to have them on the show. Thank you, Michael, for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Lucas.
So, Michael, what is the key to making it on the Inc. 500? Did you have like a period of time where you didn't grow at all and then you just grew and had this amazing growth spurt, or what did you do specifically to get there?
So that's a pretty interesting story. Inc. 500. So that was when 2010 is when we hit that. We were number 183. And we had absolutely seen some amazing growth. So acquisitions was a part of our path to enable that. So we had started up a company, Build Intelligence Web Solutions. We acquired SEOcompany.com. We acquired PPCmanagement.com, and we had started to take our first steps in white label. But one of the things that honestly just pushed us over the edge is one very large client. And I think that comes with the more work you put in, the luckier you are. And so luck had its way, and we got one very, very large client. They were spending $37,000 a day in Google Ads. We were managing that. We were actually only 1/4 of their ad budget. It was kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy money. And they were making money hand over fist. Obviously, you wouldn't spend that kind of money if you weren't. And they were running all that ad spend through us, and just it was an amazing final year. That 3-year period that they look for to be a part of Inc. 500. And so it was a really good thing.
Amazing growth. So how did you get that client, and was that client in the digital marketing space without naming them unless you want
to? So the way we got that client, this came in from our PPC management website. So we own ppcmanagement.com. At that time, we had it ranked at, position number 1 for PPC management. And they just found us organically. Right. So, it came in, like tons of other leads came in, did our normal thing, met with them, and it just turned into a relationship of, okay, yeah, let's do this. And it was just like a normal order of business.
Right. And for the deal that you struck up with them when you started to work with them, did you start off with something that was really attainable for you to deliver on and wasn't a huge problem in terms of scaling up or working on their campaign, or did you just right from the jump get their entire quarter of their budget, or how did that work?
Yeah, so in this case, it was just right from the get-go. It wasn't $37,000 a day immediately, but it was $10,000 a day. We scaled that up, so it was significant right from the very beginning, because they knew they already knew what they were doing, and what they needed to do to succeed. They wanted to see that we could actually take it the extra inch of oh, hey, we've made it 10%, 20% better.
Right.
And so when they saw that, they're like, all right, cool, pour money on it. And
yeah.
Let
me ask you, so that's about $900,000 a month in spend. So how do you price something like that on the retainer side? Did you actually do $90,000 in payments for your team, or how did that work?
Yeah, so it was a percentage of spend, which was not our normal model at all. So in fact, our normal model was we were one of the very first to offer a tier based pricing of, if you fall into this tier, you pay this flat fee. The entire industry wasn't that way when we started up. And we actually were the ones that kind of introduced that model that's kind of become more prevalent today. But in that case, we're wow, this is going to vary significantly, and we can't possibly make all these tiers, out into infinity. We agreed on a pretty straightforward percentage of spend model, which, worked out.
Totally get it. So when it comes to the very first thing that I've been asking people right now, because I think it's the most important thing most agencies forget or are not very good at, and I think you clearly have figured it out. I can see by the website, because you have a download ebook on there. So that's definitely one free lead magnet. So I'm sure you've figured this out. What are some lead magnets that have worked for you over the years really well? And do you have any that's working really well for you right now?
Sure. So The nice thing for us is we've largely built this via SEO. So people are actively doing a search, right? They're looking for, all right, what is white label? They're just typing in white label. They're finding us like one of the first providers after like Wikipedia. And so they're normally kind of like an informational give. So ebooks, for instance, of like, what is white label and what are some of the things that you should look for in a white label provider. And, then we also give a bunch of other information about like white label software and things like that, just so we can kind of give them an idea of what the industry's like. But then, so there's those kind of MQLs where it's just very informational of how to, be successful as an agency owner. And then after that, the SQLs of just, hey, let's have a meeting, or hey, request. Another one is request case studies is a good MQL, right? They're not necessarily ready to talk to you at that very moment, but they're asking for some additional information.
So let's talk about different kinds of blogs that have worked well for you guys, and also whether it makes more sense to do blogs versus strict kind of landing pages. I see two of your blogs are getting significant amounts of traffic. You have White Label Software, which is just what is white label software. Actually, you're ranked number 4 for white label, which is kind of crazy. And then White Label Software, you're ranked number 1, which is
we don't provide software.
No, that's insane. Maybe we should partner. I know we talked about that. So I didn't even know you guys are ranked number 1. That's pretty crazy. So anyways, White Label Software. Which of these pages has helped you the most over the years? I mean, is there like a specific one that as your money page, or?
Oh, our money page is our what is white label page. In terms of getting that initial traffic, like that's our top of the funnel page, right? So I'm not going to say it's our actual money page that's like, oh, cool, they're 100% ready to make a decision. So that's our top of funnel. Like thousands of people come into that page because they're looking up just white label. They're looking up what is white label, just all these different types of phrases, right? That's our white label software page. So if you go over I think it's underneath the white label services, there's the white label, what is white label page.
Right. And for anybody who's on the Spotify app, you can actually watch this video and see it, or also on YouTube, check it out. But I'm showing the screen for his blog on white label software. It's really interesting how they've set it up. They have white label marketing as the path parameter, or for the path, for the first path. And then the second one is white label software. So they have a whole folder just under white label marketing. And on Ahrefs, I'm sure it's higher than this, but it looks like y'all are getting a significant amount of traffic over the years. It looks like it's grown considerably over time. Was there a specific moment where you started to really invest in SEO? Because it looks like it wasn't too much back in 2015, but it's definitely skyrocketed since then.
Yeah, good question. So 2015, I would say, is the time that I had come back from college. I was running our social media marketing department at that time. I had come back. I built out. So I said, hey, look, let me take over our marketing, right? Let me focus a lot of time on that and stop focusing on production. And so one of the first things I said, all right, give me an SEO person that I can task on a regular basis, and we need to start creating content. We had been running, our entire business was really SEOcompany.com, ppcmanagement.com, and repmanagement.com. Those were the 3 that were just throwing leads at us, right? But I kind of saw the writing on the wall that one, we had taken those domains kind of to the bleeding edge, of SEO. And anytime you take it to the bleeding edge, any algorithm shift and you're not on the bleeding edge anymore. And so, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And we also kind of saw how they changed the SEO industry. Everybody that was on page 1 with us for SEO Company was just within one day, everybody that was on page 1 was just white. And it was like completely manual.
Wait, which update was this? Do you know?
It was not an update. It was a literal manual action. And because it had no effect on any of our clients, nothing anywhere else, literally just the SEO space.
That's crazy.
And everybody that was put there was like, why are these guys here? They have no authority. Like this content's crap. Like why does this exist? And then not long after, we saw them turn SEO into like a localized phrase where it shows, hey, here's the top 3 SEO companies near you. And we're like, ooh, they're looking to kill SEO companies, which of course, why wouldn't Google want to do that? They're looking to kill SEO companies and make it all about, hey, there is no big national SEO company that has it figured out.
Yeah.
And so that's when we decided, all right, white label needs to become a bigger part of who we are, so we can actually support all those local guys that just all of a sudden gained all this, exposure that now, how do I service this? So 2015 is when we really started to focus on the thatcompany.com domain and start to take rankings with that. So that's really, SEO has always been our main driver.
So SEO is the driver that, look, I'm going to give you the option to do this. This is not a gotcha show, so I'm not going to force you to, but it would be very helpful to hear what you guys are doing in terms of revenue, but I'm not going to force you to do it. Even if it's a range, that'd be helpful. I'm assuming you guys are doing over $1 million a year in revenue. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So with that, is the SEO fully subsidizing all of that, or do you guys have outbound strategies and things like that you do as well?
So we've had outbound strategies over the years. And I won't give a further answer on revenue, but I'll say yes, great.
It's okay. I'll let it go. It's not a big deal.
But as far as outbound strategies, so actually when I had come back, I also built a small cold call team. And we ran this for 2 years. This is 2015 to 2017. No, sorry, 2013 to 2015. Sorry, 2013, 2015. 2 years we ran cold call efforts, cold email. And we won one of our largest clients that way. They came on, they started spending $6,500 a month, and they grew to $30,000 a month, within a year. And what made them so cool is they were in the acquisition space. They had a private equity firm that was like fueling them, and they literally bought their competitor who was twice their size. It was like the cat eating the dog.
That's crazy.
And then when they did that acquisition, it was like, all right, we're kicking out the other marketing firm that's, working for them, and you guys have it all now. And they buy a little piece over here, buy a little piece over there, and then we get it. We've been on both sides of that, though. We've been on both sides of when you're with a company that's heavy acquisition oriented. Sometimes they get bought, and when they get bought, you get kicked, and that's just how it goes.
That's super interesting. So you stopped the cold calling function at that point, or did you keep doing it?
So we got that. We very much realized it was a go big or go home type mentality for cold calls. If calling on the small SMBs just really didn't make sense from a financial standpoint, the amount of effort to go get the small guy to keep them, that you needed to go win a big one to pay for a whole lot of marketing, pay for the people, all that. So that's what I would say is go big or go home. If you're going to do cold calling, you might as well. I mean, we won Western Union via cold call.
Just from cold calling.
Cold calling.
What would Western Union want with white label digital marketing services, though? Is that just like your top of funnel thing, or do you do other kinds of marketing too?
Yeah. So it had nothing to do with white label at that point. We had the thatcompany.com domain, and yes, it talked about white label, but our domains kind of shifted over the course of time to be more white label centric. Right. Yeah. It used to just be like SEO, PPC, social media, reputation management. Here's all of our different services we provide. Oh, cool. White label too. Yeah. And then we decided, all right, white label, we're all in. This is what we're going to do. And I would say that shift of like messaging on our website become white label specific, probably around 2017, 2018, we kind of just dropped the, just looking for these services.
Interesting. Lots of really good questions I still have to ask. For instance, when I go to this page for the Get Started, it has the ebook and everything. Are you open to sharing like what quantity of these you get per month? Like this seems like a lot. I mean, if it's SEO, right? So you're probably getting like hundreds, or is it in the hundreds or the thousands? Would you say of people?
So it's not in the thousands. It's in the hundreds.
Wow, that's pretty impressive though. And was there specific things you did with your blog structure that like made it stand out more than anything? So like, for instance, obviously the length is good, but was it adding this on the sidebar? You started to see a lot more conversions. Was it, getting this listen to the article thing at the top? Was there a specific thing you noticed was solid?
So offering, I would say one of the things that we did that was solid, that really helped us, is when we actually added those buttons on the right. We used to just have the form. It used to be just get started. Here's your form. Boom. But when we added those buttons to be like, oh, hey, download the ebook and things like that, where especially to download the ebook because it's more of an MQL.
Right.
And it just got them into our, our system of like, cool, now you're going to start seeing our, email campaigns and things of that nature.
Yeah.
That had a significant impact.
Well, I'm imagining too, like when you do this, you're getting their phone number as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So are you immediate? Is the flow to call them and then kind of like?
Yeah. Okay. So any form, doesn't matter if it's MQL or SQL, we just go ahead and call it. And we put them on a 5 email, 5 phone call type rotation. And our goal is 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes doesn't happen every single time, but normally if it's within business hour, it happens at least in 30.
Very interesting. Very interesting. What's interesting to me is, again, I've been harping on this whole lead magnet thing. In fact, inside the software now, I'm actually not going to allow anyone to be promoted here pretty soon in the software unless they have a lead magnet and a really good offer. You guys clearly have both those things, but the lead magnet is so obvious to me, which is just this guide. Did you test other ones before you landed on this, or was this just like luck? You just got one that just worked.
We found one. It just worked. And honestly, we haven't even looked back at it. It's something that we probably should go look at it and go, well, how do we make this a little bit better? But we actually get people. Yeah.
Like, why do you think? Yeah.
They come into the meetings actually and they go, I love everything that you say in this. This actually helped me vet out like people that were not a good fit.
That's incredible. I'm going to download that book. Well, everyone who's watching this, you guys know what to do. And I'll put the link in the YouTube show notes as well for y'all to click on that. But that's really awesome. And, just in terms of, we don't have to go into revenue numbers, but in terms of growth, right? Like, can you break down for me, like over the last, it sounds like almost decade, right? Since you've been doing this. What has growth looked like? Was it like a long, nothing and then a huge jump, or was it just linear growth and just like a straight line?
I would love to talk on a podcast that it's just been all rainbows and unicorns and it's just looked like this, right? But that's not reality. It's definitely had, ups and downs, right? COVID was an example of, it was interesting. So when COVID started, it actually had quite the uptick up before it had a gradual down. But it's honestly just been a slow kind of like, if we look at the overall trend, right? So we got the ups and downs, but we look at the overall trend, we go, okay, cool. We're headed in the right direction. And we've made some decisions where that downtrend is like, that didn't work out. That's not what we need to be doing. But I think that's what's beautiful about business is you get to learn as you're doing it. And I think that's what's important. So for anybody that's like sitting there thinking about what they want to do, stop thinking, just freaking do it. Because then you'll actually get the real data to make a decision.
Very interesting. And, I've been asking this to people too on the show because I always think about it when I'm launching a product, and typically companies that are over $1 million in revenue, they usually think through this part. And I'm curious what your thoughts are, is what opportunity with the resources you have available or any resources you see acquiring on the horizon, do you feel like with your unique skill set and your team's unique skill set, you could be 10x better than the next best company in that category? Do you think that white label marketing is your opportunity? You can be 10x better than anyone else on the planet? Or do you feel like it's something else that is a sub niche of white label marketing, or what's your thoughts on that? Because I did just interview DashClicks. I want to bring that up and just see kind of like how you think you compare. And obviously I haven't fully used either of your guys' softwares to the experience. Sure. So I don't really know for sure, but there's a lot of agencies on here who use DashClicks, and I'm curious what you guys think in terms of comparisons.
So I think where we crush it in relation to white label marketing is the scalability. So, and I can't fully comment on DashClicks. I'm not the kind of guy that goes like and does like, oh, I'm going to sign up and see everything inside, right? That's not what I do. I don't have the time. But I would say where we succeed is the fact that we actually give our partners their time back. So the majority of white labels out there, the way that they work is they'll do the work and they'll provide you a dashboard and give you like, your reporting structure. But they don't talk to the client. They don't help you close the deal. It's kind of like hey, congrats on signing up. Go get them. And
Yeah.
we'll be here to service it when you actually have the customer. And so,
Right.
whereas when you sign up with that company, it's cool. All right. Let's, what leads we got going. All right.
Right.
Let's get them booked into our team. We're going to run some research on that. We're going to show up, wow them. They come into the meetings and they're like, oh, wow. Like we almost become a clear choice for them.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and we help close the deal. We give them the proposal, the contracts, all that good stuff. So they're protected. And then when it signs, and this is really the biggest thing. When it signs, our partners get to just focus on, cool, we sent out the bill, we got paid. You guys are onboarding, you guys are handling the meetings, you're handling the reporting. Like, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to play the telephone game between the customer and a provider. I don't have to, where's the guy working on my account? Can I just talk to them? I don't have to worry about fielding a question I don't know the answer to. Like, just eliminate a whole lot of friction that exists in the white label world today.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that you guys are killing it on the SEO side compared to them. Just because I'm looking at the traction. I mean, they've done great, but you guys are doing exceptional at SEO, really by like a factor of like 8. So congrats to that. So that's definitely an advantage for sure. And I want to put a pin in that too, in terms of the SEO side. You do have standalone pages on the website that are more like click-through landing pages. Are you getting better results, would you say, from those or the blogs? Like, because you said that's like a huge funnel is the blogs, but I mean, have you seen historically which one works better for you?
Our core content, so we call it core content, we call it blogs. So our core content, so like the white label software, we call that core content because you can get it to it from our navigation, right? And our core content's what produces, and our blogs support our core content. So our blogs where we just talk about like, hey, I don't know, these are the things that these are the 3 reports you need to build out in GA4, right? GA4 is new.
Right.
And then we use that to link back into, internal linking into our core content.
Right.
So, and we just have that constantly support that. And then it's also always got call to actions. And anytime you're reading something where you're learning like a how to, or, how does this work, or what is, we have lots of call to actions throughout, which just help the entire process for us.
That's really interesting. Well, man, it's been great having you on the show. And obviously we're going to be partnering together. I'm really excited for some of the stuff because I've been wanting to send people to kind of like a sales enablement type, white label provider. And I think it's really cool you guys do. We don't really see it as a 10X opportunity for us because we have a different skill set, like different resource set. So I really do want people to go and work with Michael and his team. I'm not currently getting a cut. So if you're a member of Twiz, you can go work with them and I don't get a commission on it, nor do I want one. But maybe there's discount opportunity for, is there any way that people can work with you or book a meeting with you, or maybe just is the best thing just to go to your website and get that guide? What's the best option?
Yeah, so definitely the best thing is to go to the website, fill out a form. And reason being is you'll actually get a nice video. I believe in respecting people's time. So you'll get a video right from the very beginning. They'll tell you exactly, hey, this is how it works and this is what you can expect. And then if you actually want to take the time after that to book a meeting, then we do that.
Fantastic. And I do want to squeeze actually one little question in there as well. How do you nurture them post that 5-day sequence? Do you have an email newsletter that you send people through? And what does that consist of?
Yeah. So we send them a monthly email newsletter. And that consists of just education in the space of like anything SEO oriented, pay-per-click oriented, social media oriented. And then we also try to write an article that really talks to agency owners and the problems that they're facing.
Right. And did you switch that to monthly at a certain point, or were you always monthly?
So we've been we've been monthly pretty much the entire time. It's not perfect. So, it might miss a week or something like that, but yeah, pretty much monthly.
Right. Yeah. I just started a daily one and I'm tossed between doing daily or weekly, but I haven't heard monthly yet. And I know that is something that is popular too. And I know that a lot of people do that with a lot of success. So, really great having you on the show, man. Really appreciate it. And for everybody listening, definitely go check out That Company. It's spelled exactly like it sounds. So just go to thatcompany.com. And if you haven't seen them already through some sort of SEO search, then this might be your first time. You might really enjoy it and go get that ebook. when you can. So really appreciate it, Michael. Been great having you on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lucas.